In a small, isolated village surrounded by dense woods, there was an old, abandoned house that had long been the subject of local legends. The townspeople whispered about the strange occurrences that happened there, disembodied voices, flickering lights, and shadowy figures that danced in the windows at night. No one dared to go near it, except for a brave young woman named Clara. Curious about the stories, Clara decided one evening to explore the old house. Armed with only a flashlight and her courage, she made her way through the twisted trees that surrounded the property. The air was thick with an eerie silence, broken only by the sound of her footsteps crunching on the gravel path. As she approached the front door, a chill ran down her spine. The door creaked open as if inviting her in, and she stepped inside, her flashlight beam cutting through the darkness. The air was stale, filled with dust and the faint smell of decay. Clara could feel the weight of the silence pressing down on her. As she explored the dimly lit rooms, she noticed strange markings on the walls, almost like messages from another time. The atmosphere grew heavier, and the shadows seemed to shift and whisper around her. "Leave this place," they seemed to say, but Clara was determined to uncover the truth. In the center of the house, she found a staircase leading to the attic. Curiosity propelled her upward, each step creaking ominously under her weight. When she reached the top, she opened the attic door and found a small, dusty room filled with old furniture and cobwebs. In the corner, a large mirror stood, its surface covered in grime. As Clara wiped the mirror clean, she felt a cold breeze brush past her. When she looked into the reflection, her heart raced. The room behind her was empty, but in the mirror, she could see shadowy figures standing just beyond the doorway. Panicking, Clara turned to run, but the attic door slammed shut, trapping her inside. She could hear whispers growing louder, surrounding her. "Join us, forever," they hissed, sending chills through her body. Desperate, Clara grabbed the mirror and flung it against the wall, shattering it into countless pieces. As the glass broke, the whispers turned into anguished cries. The shadows writhed and twisted, their faces contorting in pain. Suddenly, the attic door burst open, and Clara dashed down the stairs, the shadows chasing her. She could feel their cold breath on her neck as she sprinted through the house, the walls closing in around her. She stumbled out the front door, racing toward the woods, the shadows retreating behind her as she crossed the threshold. Once outside, she paused to catch her breath, glancing back at the house. The whispers faded into silence, but she could see the shadows swirling in the windows, watching her leave. As she ran deeper into the woods, the feeling of being followed lingered, like a cold weight on her shoulders. When she finally reached the edge of the village, she looked back one last time. The old house stood silently against the night sky, but she knew its secrets were far from over. The shadows would remain, waiting for the next curious soul brave enough to venture inside. From that day on, Clara never spoke of her experience, but every time she glanced at the old house from afar, she could hear the faint whispers in the wind, a haunting reminder of the night she dared to confront the darkness.